Good morning, families of St. James School. I thought I'd take a few minutes to answer some of your questions and to address some of the concerns that we're hearing about at the office, and I thought I'd do it in person via this video as opposed to another letter or email or that sort of thing, with regards to school startup happening here in just a little while. So first of all, to confirm that yes, school will begin on Wednesday, September the 9th, and it will be a full day in class as normal as possible. Beyond that, I've sent out letters that kind of outline the procedures and that sort of thing, both from a CIS-KD level, but then also from a school point of view of what you can kind of expect when the students are returning. I know that a lot of you are feeling really nervous right now. That you're concerned for the health and well-being of your children, and that makes a lot of sense. And I want to assure you that we are in a really good position to help welcome everybody back safely. Our area, in terms of the Interior Health Region, has been very vigilant. The amount of cases that can be found in the interior are very, very low. And our province generally has done really, really well. So remember to temper any of your feelings or concerns with that knowledge that we are doing a really good job as both a province, but also as a region of health to keep transmission and active cases way, way, way down. So, and you can look those figures up for yourself to get the most current ones, but I can assure you that those are really low. That being said, we're making sure that we are being very vigilant with all of the protocols and recommendations that are being made by both the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, and of course our organization, the CIS-KD. So that's the Catholic Independent Schools of Kamloops Diocese. There are 6 schools associated with that diocese, and we together have created a plan that has been sent to the ministry, and the word on the street is it was received very, very well. They did read them because there were some things that were noted that came back that the ministry is interested in, which is great, and we've been told that our plans are exemplary. So we're in a good place to be able to help make this transition as positive and healthy as possible. As you know, coming back to school, it really isn't going to look that much different in terms of the cohorts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's allowing us to buddy classes up in a way that is super responsible, which is great. But again, you're not going to really see that used a whole heck of a lot, especially not in the first few months. I mean, generally classes kind of stick to themselves and follow their own timetables, and the places where they interact the most with each other is outside. And that's still going to be normal. So outside recesses are not going to be staggered. You're not going to see a whole bunch of different processes or that kind of stuff around that, because we know that outside the chances of any kind of spread of contagion is really, really, really low. So the kids are going to be able to mingle a little bit outside. We're going to ask that all kids keep their bodies to themselves as much as possible. You know, we're going to limit the amount of touching and so on and so forth, but we tend to do that anyway as a general rule. We do our best to see that that's happening. And then if there's like the sharing of a ball or games and that kind of stuff, we're going to try and keep that within the cohorts. So again, those cohorts are really simple right now. K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those tend to be kids that play together outside at recess anyway, or at least are the groupings that we're most comfortable with. So they're going to be able, 6, 7s can toss a football around back and forth within their cohort and not worry about it being a big deal. We're going to make sure that they're washing their hands when they come in for recess. We're going to make sure they wash their hands before they go outside for recess. Like, there's going to be all that stuff to keep it safe. But it's going to be a fairly natural kind of order that we're going to be able to promote to keep anxieties down, because we also don't want the kids to be overly anxious when they're coming back to school. We want school to be as normal an experience as possible. And so we're going to make sure that we do that. We're going to follow all the rules. We're going to make sure that we have everything in place to make things safe. And we're going to love your kids the way that we love them. Which is something that we do really well here at St. James School. They're going to feel safe. They're going to enjoy being around their friends again. They're going to be excited to meet their new teacher. They're going to be excited to be coming back to our St. James School community. And although there will be less assemblies or things like that where all the kids come together in one place, honestly, I don't think too many kids are going to miss that, as much as it breaks my heart. But I don't think they're going to be all that worried about not having too many assemblies with Mr. Rossetti. And I will find other ways to make sure that I've got the kids connected and to me and to the rest of the school population. They are going to have music classes. They are going to have art classes. They are going to have French classes. The teachers are going to take on the burden of the responsibility of making sure that they are safe and socially distant from the students. We're going to make sure that we plan things in a way that makes sense with the cohorts. So all of those things are going to be back, and it's going to be wonderful. And we're excited to have that team. If you want to know more about the team of teachers that we have serving your families this year, you can find that in the letter that I sent out. And yes, Mrs. Kelly is still our librarian. Mrs. Kelly is a library clerk, and so when I put teaching assignments down, she's not a teacher. So I don't include all of the EAs and support staff in that document, whereas Mrs. Monahan is a teacher. So that's why you only see Mrs. Monahan as teacher and librarian. But have no worries, Mrs. Kelly is certainly still a part of our SJS community. So I know some of you were worried about that. Masks. Some of you were asking, are we going to be wearing masks? Are the kids wearing masks? What's going on with that? I outlined that in the letter, but I'll say it here too. Masks are a personal choice. So anyone who wishes to wear a mask at St. James School is welcome to do so. And they will be supported and made to feel comfortable wearing their mask. However, masks will not be required. So K through 7 is being treated as elementary. We got clarification on that by the ministry because middle school, although technically meaning 6 and 7, all the way up to 9, is an area where people are supposed to be wearing masks when they aren't in their cohorts. The ministry has clarified with us that that means standalone middle schools. So there are places in the province where there are schools that are only grade 6 through 9. St. James obviously isn't one of them, and that school doesn't exist in our School District 22 area. So we are treating our kids like elementary kids, which means no masks, K through 7. And in terms of staff wearing masks, again, that will be a choice that they make. We will encourage them to make the choice that is most comfortable for them. We will supply masks if that is required. But ultimately, it's one of those things that it will only be required in certain circumstances. So, for example, Mrs. Ham in music may choose to wear a mask because she's going to be dealing with students across cohorts. And if she can't maintain social distancing, then she may put on a mask so that she can be closer to the kids' levels. But generally speaking, we're not going to see too much mask wearing at St. James School. It'll be under very specific circumstances. The DL option is the other new thing that everybody's super excited about, or at least I'm getting some buzz around. And I've received some clarity on that as well. So we are allowed to offer a bit of a hybrid for families who are nervous about coming back in September and October, waiting to kind of see how this whole thing plays out. We can offer some kind of a distance learning model, but it has to be short term. So the minister has clarified with us that it is not intended to be a long-term whole year plan. So if you know right off the bat that you're like, no, I want to make sure that my child is in my home for the remainder of the year, then you will need to enroll with one of the DL schools in the province, of which Ascend Online is the Catholic option in the province that is housed out of our diocese. So that's it. Now, that being said, DL schools obviously are developing quite a wait list, and so you may not have that option. I would offer, stick with us, do the DL option, talk to me, and we'll work out a situation for you that will work. Try it for a month, 6 weeks, see how it's working. If you then at that point decide that, no, I want to continue homeschooling, then you can make the transition over and the DLs won't be as overwhelmed as they are now. They might have a better idea of how they can serve your child. What have you got to lose? You already know St. James and you like it here. I know that some of you are concerned about the health of your child or children or somebody at home, and that makes a lot of sense too. But try us out and see what happens. I don't think you're going to be any worse off than you were before you tried to find someplace else to be. But know that if you are decided that it's going to be a long-term thing, then you'll want to enroll in a school that is designed specifically for that. However, we will work with you to bridge any gaps. Some of you have asked about finance and about what that looks like, and please always come and talk to us about any financial challenges that you may be having. There are many opportunities for us to help serve you, and I would rather have your child be a part of the school than not be a part of the school because of money. There are lots of reasons for that, and I can talk to you about that individually. But we are committed, especially during these challenging times, to find ways to work with families to move forward in a way that we can do together. And I think that's all I really have to say right now. I hope that answered some of your questions right off the bat. A few of you I'll be following up with. Thank you for your emails. Please fill out the survey, whether you plan to come back or not. It is super helpful so that we can know how many people we're dealing with. Don't keep it just to yourselves. I've heard that, from some, there's lots of people talking about this or that, the other thing. Please involve us in those conversations. Because we have some information that maybe others don't, and we may be able to serve your individual needs in a way that works. So keep us in that loop. If you have been talking with other parents, going through that process, that makes a lot of sense, and I understand that, but please now involve us in that process so that we can have an opportunity to help serve you better, because that's what we're about here. At least that's what we try to be about. So involve us in your family's decision. Let us help us to help you. So that's all I have to say. I'm not going to say any more. God blessings to all of you. I do look forward to seeing so many of you back at school and in our classrooms. It's going to be an exciting time for sure. And let's do it together. God bless. Peace and blessings to all of you.